All right, welcome back here to, well, Shell Stadium for the second time. Looking forward to this, no doubt. So are you, Kevin Sheehan. Happy hunting ground for you, as you reminisce with a few of your old teammates earlier on. But South Australia, Victoria Metro, can Victoria Metro go on their winning way?
Looking forward to it. The perfect day for football. Absolutely stunning day for the middle of winter. The ground is still drying out. There's been a bit of dew overnight, but it will open up to be the ideal day. And we've got the Vic Metro 34-point winners over WA in the first round, and South Australia need to rebound after losing by 43 points to Vic Country.
Be interesting to see what tactics Bruce Winter uses. It was fairly much a scrambly game that South Australia played the other day. A lot of players around the ball. They'll need to probably open it up a lot better here on this ground, especially against this team, and they've done just that. And they're into attack straight away. And the South Australian, who George Verco, we didn't see a lot of first game. Perhaps one of the better players was up forward, a guy called Ben Rutten, who really gave them a focal point. Be interesting here to see how Verco goes.
Well, they've gone taller up forward. They've got Verco at full forward at 190. Crook will start on the ground. He showed a bit when he come off the bench to play in the ruck, but he'll start in the pocket. And you've got Rutten, as you mentioned, at centre.
Well, it's a floating old kick, and talking of him, Kevin, just excuse me for butting in there, but the ball's just wobbled into the forward line. Rutten was at the back of the pack there, and it's just gone straight into his waiting arm. So a little bit of luck for South Australia. And the guy who we were putting the wraps on hasn't let us down.
Yeah, big, strong-bodied guy, but you can have the big body, but it's the way you play. And he does get in front and uses his frame to great advantage. Took 9 marks the other day, quite a few contested marks, and certainly was one of their shining lights across half forward.
Umpire's just bringing him around a little bit. He's going to have a decent run up at it as well, which is a pretty good sign, as he'll kick from about 12 metres out, virtually directly in front of goal. Shouldn't have too many problems of getting the first goal for South Australia, and that's a pretty good start for them because they battled very hard first day of these championships, and well, that's a good catalyst for them.
Well, give them that little bit of confidence that they want. They have to work hard to establish that degree of confidence in this first quarter. Mark Jamar will give them the first use of it, you'd think, at centre-bounce. He was an impressive player the other day. He's up against Justin Crowe, a good player for Victoria when he came off the bench. So let's just see if we can get a good contest between these impressive young ruckmen.
Yes, 2 young fellows will be at it, and no excuses for bad footy today. Perhaps Crowe might have been had the run at him on that occasion, probably got the better of it. Ball falls loose, little miss kick there, pressure applied, picked up, handball here from Victoria's Montagna actually, out here quickly to Power. A few new faces in the Victorian team. Power's little kick has just wobbled through to the wrong side and a behind. In fact, this young fellow here, Lee Montana, is it? Silent
Montagna.
G? Montagna.
Yep.
Okay, from the Victorian Metropolitan side. So we see him for the first time in these championships. Kick in, almost captured by Victoria, certainly is by South Australia. Eichner it was who went without it, comes back for a second crack at it, trying to fend them off as Bressler. Slight trip there to Oakley, but he manages to get a handball away. So too does Noonan. And the South Australians head towards centre wing. And it's Big Crow, the ruckman, who takes the mark, dropping back there. Done pretty well in the first game. He'll be looking for another game of equal here. And a good grab taken here by Ball. I know there's some reasonable raps on this young fellow too. I'll get you to talk about him in a moment, Kevin. His kick's not bad. Looking here and very, very well roved. It was Montagna again. And he's just offline. Tell us a little bit about Ball.
Yes, I think probably best player on the ground in round 1. 31 possessions, 17 kicks and 14 hand passes. It tells you a little bit about the player. He's a very good team man. He's got terrific speed, great decision maker in tight. And as you can see from that grab, quite strong overhead for a guy of around the 183 centimetre mark. Would play midfield, probably change up around the forward flank. The son of Rabel, who played for Richmond and the Swans.
Actually, we put the test on Terry Wheeler yesterday. Might have been a bit early for him in the fog, but the son ofs, and there are a few playing in these championships. We'll try and pick them up for you. And Cade Carey, of course, a nephew of Wayne's. There's another name to stand out as a little bit scrambly here, just outside half forward for the Victorian Metropolitan side. We've got an Oakley on this side for South Australia, but no relation to a former chairman of the VFL, I think. But there are quite a few young fellows looking to impress. Okay, the tap out finds its way to Victoria. Quick hands from Heinrich, looks towards Welsh, and Welsh has a pot shot at goal and offline. So Heinrich was another prime mover the other day. It might have been Montagna again, actually. Where was I talking about? The young fellow that was quite impressive the other day in Heinrich.
Yes, laid it off very well there, Tyson Heinrich. He's blessed with terrific speed and endurance, and he's getting certainly better at spotting targets and using his hands to great effect.
Good pair of hands there. I think they belong to Nick Smith. He wants to get rid of it again. Went back out here to Jamar. And they get it moving pretty quickly with quick hands through the centre. Might have been Verco that went up there. No, it wasn't. It was Big Rutten, who's down from the forward line into the centre of the ground. Kicks high there from Thornton. Didn't travel far at all. A little bit scrambly. South Australians trying to bottle it up. Now they get it out loose. A little bit of a catch and a throw from Kelly. Was lucky enough to get away with it. Actually, it might have been George. And we finally see South Australia through Eichner get the ball inside their 50. Trying to punch from behind. It was Welsh on that occasion. A handball. Dribbling old kick. Had nothing on it whatsoever, but allows Victoria in, and the free kick's going to be picked up here.
Terrific second effort by Verco there, the full forward that worked hard to the front spot. The ball got away to him, but he turned and got back quickly onto it. Gave the hand pass away, but very good athletic effort from Verco.
Ferraro got it to Ball. Ball again. Back here towards Ferraro. His kick's not a bad one. And there's a great grab. Couple of real good grabs to Jamar, really. And he's an impressive type. Jamar is kicked back here towards centre wing. Two on one, and the numbers went out for Victoria. The call there from Ball, who gives it off to Montagna again, who's had that's his third possession, so he's been very busy early. This is George through the centre for South Australia. Good punch away from Roden it was. Again, who was a good player for the Victoria Metro in their first encounter. Looking for the big ruckman out here in Crow. Tucks it under the arm and he's off out towards centre wing, but the footy's going to beat Riley out there, and we'll find a throw in on centre wing here at Shell Stadium. The time clock is about 7 minutes gone with South Australia one straight goal, Victorian Metro two behinds. As we have a look at getting up very, very high from behind as McGuinness, I think, for the Victorian team, got into the back of the big fellow there in Rutten. Still very scrambly. There's a throw out of the pack when I noticed. It was Thornton. Finally got it across here to Power, and Power's kick has gone over the boundary line. So the free kick coming back here to South Australia. And pretty hard to pick up. Here we are talking about beautiful bright sunshine, but these fellows are a little bit hard to pick up over that far side. I think we'll find that's Rivers.
Oh, good grab. That's a terrific
was a tremendous mark. And this young fellow again was one of the good movers for South Australia the other day in a losing team. So let's have a look and see what he can do. We'll pick him up pretty easy. He's the only one with a ponytail out there. Whoa, look at the big arms go up there of Crook, it might have been actually. Couldn't bring it to ground. And we find Stacks on the mill again. So South Australia offering a little bit more than they did the first game.
Nathan Bock, as you mentioned, Rob, started half back the other day and moved to half forward second half. A lively type, very raw, but shows some good athletic ability and can find the footy. His duel with young Sam Power will be an interesting one.
Crow it is. Might have been Jackman that could have been up over the top of them. Trying to get it up. South Australia can't do. Over the top of it is Roden, battling hard. And the football's going to beat them all again. So a little bit of pressure out there. The Victorian bench just warming up here in front of us at the moment. And South Australia with the only goal on the board so far, 25-30 metres around. And looking to try and lock it in and keep it there. Callum Crook to do the ruck work against Crow. Crook was who tried to take it out. The ruck, Ferraro was in front there trying to steal it. Still in there battling hard. He's having a real battle with George. And again, we'll see the umpire put a whistle on play. And the ball hasn't travelled too far at all. I hope this is not a sign of things to come, Kev. I hate being negative, but these two sides can really turn on good football, but at the moment it's just a little bit scrambly.
Yeah, I think that can happen at the start of the game. Yes, a lot of pressure on. Players very keen to get their hands on it early.
Play on, calls the umpire. Victoria get a quick kick out. Lovely pair of hands here from Heinrich. Gets it across here. Finds Finnan. Finnan's kick here on half back. This is Luke Ball. Ball's little kick just falls fractionally short here for Karato, and unable to control it. So the boundary throw in right in front of our broadcast position. Members side of this Shell Stadium, or as Gadinia Park as you'd have known it. How many miles do you reckon you've trekked around here? These young fellows have got perfect conditions today. Here he is, number 25. This is Harvey, the danger player, getting it across here to Judd, the captain, and Judd gets one way and around the other and tries to bend the footy back, but it doesn't bend back far enough. It'll be interesting to see, no doubt. South Australia have done their homework on Harvey. Gee, he was a dangerous player the other day, wasn't he?
He was. He kicked about 3 goals, 5, sort of sprayed him near goal. Judd showed tremendous acceleration. Here he is again, Judd. This time he's finished beautifully.
So Chris Judd ends up with perhaps a lucky goal, but the kick-in wasn't all that good. And we saw the Victorians trying to go up there one-handed to take it in, but they had numbers at the fall of the ball. It was good enough for Judd to come in and kick from about 35 metres. Wobbly old kick, but it's like golf, isn't it? You get the putt from 25 metres, they never ask you to draw a diagram, it's in. And it's the same with the goal.
I think he knew what he's doing, Chris Judd, who started at centre-half back quite interestingly the other day. Started on Polak in an unusual spot for Judd. You might have pictured him maybe running from half-back flank, but on the taller Polak. Then later on was moved forward and in fact had chances to kick 2 or 3 goals late in the game against WA and missed. But now he's back on target. He's a very, very dangerous forward.
Good tap from Jamar. These players at the fall of the ball. Free kick, got to go South Australia's way here. Just a little nudge in the back to Noonan. And Noonan will take the kick in the centre of the ground. Gets the call. Decides to go direct in front. It was Rutten actually that punched the ball to the ground. Over the top of it here is Officer. In fact, they swoop on him, the Victorians. And it was Montagna who was not going to let him get too far at all. He's been a lively little customer so far in this quarter. Had a couple of shots on goal. Been very active up on the forward line. Is now playing on the ball. Crow and Rutten. Rutten into the back of Crow marginally. Gets first hands onto it. Fighting in there hard for Victoria was Campbell Brown. Finally the loose ball does come out. The advantage of South Australia. Rutten finds a well intercepted there by Heinrich, because I thought South Australia had the name written all over that. He measured the kick pretty well. And it was just intercepted by Heinrich for Victoria Metropolitan. And they repel that little South Australian attack. Good tackle put on the footy here, or put on the play here by Noonan. Bottles it up again. And Victoria not being able to clear right on the 50, as we can see here. And I'll tell you what, there's 1 or 3 around the ball, and there's another one coming in here at the moment. There's young Roden is just skirting the outsides of the pack. He's looking for the big punch to come out there. Couldn't do so. I reckon it might have been Victoria with the footy there and not being able to get very far at all. Karato.
Big job for Justin Crow today. Appears to be the only tall in the Vic Metro side. Rod Crow is out with a little niggle, who was the relief ruckman the other day. And with Big Jamar, Crook and then Rutten doing some ruck work up forward, he's going to have quite a job in his hands.
Good use of the body by Rutten. Got it to George. George has managed to find a player right there on the centre half forward, and the player we're talking about is Eichner.
He'd been prominent early too. Eichner was one of their good players on the MCG in round 1 and has continued that good form on today. So
Eichner it is from 35, a chance for their second goal. Victoria Metro 139, 1 straight goal to South Australia. Could this be their second? Let's have a look at the little redhead, and he comes. Or the young redhead. They're not little, are they? These young men out here, and that's a goal to them. He's kicked truly. Young player from the Port Magpies gives South Australia their second.
Well, Terry Wheeler would be very happy with that. Young Stephen Eichner is a member of the academy, and Terry spent a lot of time on kicking technique this year with Mark Browning, working on the both set shots and kicks on the run, but working on a set routine. Eichner then showed terrific technique and balance as he walked in to have that set shot for goal.
Umpires cleared the path from behind, and just having a look there, Jason Burgoyne getting a push from Campbell Brown, trying to push him into the square. Doing well on the ruck. There's Jamar again. Kick out. Victoria's ascendancy. Just slipping. Clever was Ferraro, and it's gone against him. Free kick comes back out here to Rivers. They get it moving quickly here, South Australia. Goes one way, back the other. Bossens it is. And his kick's wide to Bressler. Bressler on half-back. The drive towards centre wing. He was looking there, I think, for Eichner. Just got underneath the flight of the footy. The numbers are there for them. Will they clear? They can. George. Handball wasn't all that good, but it was effective. Back for a second touch, so it's another stat, and he's going to get caught. He just gets the handball. A sneaky little handball. Falling was Judd. He was racing onto the footy, but here's an open goal coming up for the Victorian Metro. And if it wasn't going to be Judd, it certainly was going to be Brett Guttison. And Guttison it is who sneaks in and runs his full length to get another goal for the Victorian Metro. So looking dangerous when they get into open space.
I think that Chris Judd's hurt his shoulder here, just in the tumble. He's tried to jump someone and tumbled down. I'd reckon he's hurt his right shoulder and is coming off the ground. That's unfortunate for him. He's had shoulder trouble in the past, had an operation on the shoulder.
Well, our camera's just picking him up now, coming off. And yes, it was a real unfortunate tumble for him. He did. You spotted it well, Kevin. He tried to hop the player, the South Australian player. And as we notice, he's fairly heavily strapped on both those shoulders, isn't he?
Shoulder or wrist, just not too sure. It may well be his wrist.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that as they go to attack again here, Victoria. Kelly it is, drives it down towards half forward. They have possession of the football. Spinning around is Ferraro again, sizes it up, but there's nobody home for Victoria. Remembering, of course, a player off the ground. In fact, coming on, or waiting to come on, might be Jordan Barham. South Australia got caught. Ran into a brick wall, and the brick wall was all navy blue. And unable to get away out of defence. So that might have been Kane Officer with the footy. Let's have a look here and see what Victoria can do with it in their attacking zone at about 60 metres from goal. 17 minutes gone. Gee, time clock's gone quick. I suppose it's always the way when you're enjoying, not so much enjoying your footy, but it is a good standard here at the moment. A little scrappy early.
Yeah, Jordan Barham will be the chop out for Justin Crowe. He's come off the bench to give him relief. He's just the 193 centimetres, so he's a bit undersized and under strength probably for the bigger South Australian ruckman. But he can play very well. I've seen him play well at both ends of the ground.
Good tackle by Ball. He came across to try and take the ruck throw in there, the little fellow. And I say little fellow for Luke Ball because he's 183. And when you're talking of undersized, I suppose you'd put him in that category at the moment. With a short of tall timber, Victoria. And wrap that ball up well. Great tackle. Eludes all players. Quickly grabbed by Montagna. South Australia have got numbers. This is Burgoyne. Just gets boot to ball, and that's on the full. Umpire didn't spot it.
He has.
Oh, yes, he has. Okay. So Sam Power it is, who takes the free kick. Power, not a bad kick either. Oh, South Australian up very, very early there. Might have been Oakley, not too sure, but they have possession of the footy now on half-back. The bouncing footy it is too similar. Finally gets it across. This is Rivers. Oh. And they're persisting with this short handball and short kicking, South Australia, and they might come unstuck here, and I tell you what, it's scrambly, scrappy football over there. Kelly, name any one of the Victorians, there he is again, throwing his body in there. And the congregation gathers.
Certainly got the numbers back, SA. I can see just looking 30 metres behind the ball here. There's about 4 or 5 Vic Metros pretty well standing on their own.
4, I can see 5. You're spot on.
Yep.
5 Victorian Metro players. So
they're going to have to run it out.
They're all around the ball.
If they just bomb it out, it's going to be picked up by the Vic Metros. Use their hands.
So if they do win it out, they have numbers there. Now let's have a look and see what the umpire's plucked out of this. It's going Victoria's way. And it might be Heinrich.
Yeah, just a high tackle there, Rob.
So Heinrich takes the free kick. Well, couldn't have gone to a better player in short in front of goal. There's a very good kick. And Tyson Heinrich, a product of Yarra Valley Grammar, plays with the Eastern Rangers. Midfielder. He's got a lot of endurance about his game of football. And I tell you what, he's offline. And I reckon that's marked. It is too. But behind the line. So to bring the footy back in is South Australia, and the player to do that is Travis Oakley. So Oakley it is. The ball travels about 50 metres, and the bouncing football to the back, and that's Bock who was there. They repel this attack, coming across nicely to Officer. Nicely from a South Australian point of view. He's right on the back of the square. So, Kane Officer, let's fly, looking up here for Big Rutten, and he's outnumbered. They've ganged up on him now, they've worked him out, I think, Kevin. And this is Barham with his first touch of the game.
A terrific grab coming in from the side. Very impressive. I've seen him on the full forward line take marks of that type, but very smart. Royce Hart-like coming from the side.
Well, that was a good effort too from McGuinness, who had two, and sensational effort, second effort. Now that's what we talk about being, well, not talking about being a good footballer, but talking about good football when you come back for a second effort to have a wonderful smother like that.
Yes, from McGuinness, who started at centre half forward. Excellent body work.
South Australia tap it down. Walsh it was, who got both hands to it. Bock, very good hands. Cross here to a teammate, kicking it up here, and I reckon that could have been young Wright, Jared Wright. It was too. Now, they're in a spot of bother here because Watson is going to have to try and set up a handball. Box come right up from half back. Finally gets a handball inboard to Kurtzel. And here come the Victorians. They've put the pressure on. Noonan couldn't get it away. Finally back to Bock. Has a pot shot on goal, but it's a scrambly old kick. And Victoria have the numbers. A little bit of speed. Arches the back and comes away and heads straight for the boundary line.
That's Finnan.
It was Finnan too. But there was only just a number of red jumpers that he had to kick to, so it wasn't such a bad kick. Oh, he's just held it long enough. I think he might have spilt it when he came to ground. And a bit hard to pick up in the dark here, some of these players here, but I reckon it's probably Jamar.
Yes, having a chop out down in the full forward line, changing with Crook. Crook's gone into the ruck, and Jamar will be a dangerous proposition for the Vic Metros down there. He showed the other day that he's very strong above the head, and a very good kick for goal.
A lovely kick. I suppose that sounds silly to people saying in the dark. I mean, we've got glorious conditions here, but on our monitor in here, with the bright sunshine out there, they're just a bit hard to pick up. So most of our footy today, I'll be looking through the binoculars, mate. So it is a sensational day for footy. Fog very, very thick here in Geelong till about 9 o'clock, 9:30.
Well, I think these perfect weather conditions are going to suit SA because big Jamar down there, he's got about 8 to 10 centimetres on Ben Finnan, so the big height advantage, and the ruck, they've got a height advantage. So, and Rutten, with his big body, has also got a strength as well as height advantage over his opponent. So they really need big games from some of the bigger players, taking marks in these good conditions to give SA a chance.
Barham in there for Victoria was late on the scene. This allows Burgoyne to come through. Not quite a trip. And I'll tell you what, the pressure from Victoria is brilliant at the moment. Wonderful tackle there, put on him by Heinrich. Stop that flow which was on. They wanted to come streaming straight up through the centre, and it's very obvious to look at now, as we spotted before. If they get the ball from the back line, all they want to do is just grab it and run it in numbers, don't they?
Yep.
So again, the footy goes into the ground. At about 70 metres, Siren beats them. Just as the handball and the loose player was out the back to drive it in towards goal. So Victoria Metro can breathe a sigh of relief. They do trail by not much. Victoria Metro 2-4-16, South Australia 3 straight goals first quarter here, and an entertaining one. And South Australia deserve it of their lead. Second quarter about to begin here at Shell Stadium. See South Australia 3 straight goals, 18. Victorian Metro 2-4-16. Entertaining first quarter, perfect conditions, and the South Australians off to a flying start, Kevin.
Yes, and well led by Rutten again at centre half forward, provided a big strong target. Mark Jamar on the ruck, giving them first use, and then drifted forward for a terrific strong mark and goal. They'll be very pleased with their opening.
Crowett is in there to do the ruck work. Pitted against him will be Callum Crook by the look of things. Victoria now kicking towards the Melbourne end goal. Whistle on play, sees the free kick. It'll go Victoria's way. No advantage paid, although it probably would have worked to their advantage. Tyson Heinrich feeling the back of the head there. I'll tell you what, there were loose Victorians everywhere, Kevin, there for a moment or two. Now they'll have a second crack at it. Heinrich's handball is effective. The kick's too long. It goes to the back of the pack here. This is Semler. Handball finds Stelzer. Now, if the sun can get out of his eyes, and it does too, the good grab taken here by Jared Wright. Wright's off quickly. He's going to get caught, not quite. Swooping on him was Ball, the Victorian. And the kick's not a good one. Goes straight to David Roden. So Roden's a little player who's not frightened to run up the ground and get a kick. And neither was this fella here, Carazzo. He can cover some territory as well too. And the Mosquito Fleet are chipping the ball around, this time to Power. Power out wide. And they'll find Welsh. It might be out there on that far side. Looking for Kelly. It's taken away from him. Picked up for South Australia here by Kurtzel. And Kurtzel's kick. Why, a little bit slow with the whistle. I was about to say I'd pay it. And it's Jamar, the big ruckman, who marks on centre wing. Jamar's kick. Looking up there for Rutten. Doesn't let him down. Marks right on 50. Wonderful pair of hands. They're going to have to play this fellow really tight and close. And he's got a bit of bulk to try and get around as well, which is going to make it twice as awkward.
Yes, with the risk of repeating ourselves, it is the big, strong fellas of SA that are prominent at the moment. Jamar and Rutten are just too big and strong for their direct opponents.
So Rutten from 55 metres has a look at them, gets right up into the square. Gee, Bock was up high, and it's been forced through for a behind. Actually, I think it was here on first day we saw a couple of really nice grabs. I've got a funny feeling further down the road I think we'll see that in Almost Footy Legends.
Well, yes, both here and then at the MCG the next day. I can think Xavier Clark's mark for the NT down this way, and then Ashley Sampy at the MCG from WA youngster took an absolute blinder on the 50 and popped it through.
Okay, so a free kick going here to South Australia, outside 50, in front. Failing to take it was Jamar. Well, was in the driver's seat and just got underneath the flight of the footy. So we often say, though, Kevin, you can be there, but unless the ball's spinning backwards, that one was sort of doing a rotation, which was pretty hard to mark. So, with due respect, Campbell Brown it is for Victoria.
Oh, that's a great grab.
Isn't that a good grab? Now, that might be Watson, is it? Far side. In towards centre half forward. Victoria. Now this is dangerous because this is going to go out in the full. Wouldn't mind picking that young fella up over there who took that mark. Give him credit. It's the free kick here going to South Australia.
It could be officer. I just can't quite...
Yes, he's just a bit far away from me to pick up without putting the glasses up. This is Eichner. Now he's got a chance to score. I tell you, it's a nice kick off the boot, and he's kicked it beautifully to the square, and a wonderful mark to South Australia right in the square. And we'll pick him up as he gets up. And it might have been the young fellow we spotted before, or is this Jamar? We'll have a look at him. Yes, it is. It's Jamar. That was a sensational kick. He measured it beautifully to say, well, I'm going to give my forwards a real chance and put this into the square, and Jamar is a sensational grab.
Yes, and we can give Kane Officer credit for that mark a little bit earlier there. Over on the forward flank, another excellent mark, the youngster from Central District. It was number 7.
Was it? Okay. So my apologies, Kane. But we managed to track you down.
So Big Jamar really proving a handful for the Vic Metro defence, just at his size at 198. Finnan at 189 is his direct opponent. And he would probably have 10 or 15 kilos on him as well. So along with Ruttner providing 2 very strong marking targets. Verco also on a lead in the first quarter took a good grab. So the 3-pronged attack is proving fairly hard to cope with for the Metro defence.
Well, they needed to bounce back, South Australia, and they've done just that. Centre bounce again. Crow tries to punch it forward. Will work to their advantage. It went straight through 2 pairs of South Australians. Out here to Kelly. Swoops on it. 2 on 1. Tell you what, good use of the body. Picked up here by Kelly again for another shot on goal. It's going to go across the face of goal and over the boundary line. The fella over there in that physical clash we saw before with the 2 on 1, you might have heard me say, the South Australian. I tell you what, he hasn't got up yet either. And finally the South Australians get over there to give him a bit of a hand. Would have knocked the wind right out of his sails. Sharked here by McGuinness. And tell you what, again, we could have seen someone split right open. Here's a chance for Kelly. Kelly spins around, looks in towards the square. It's all South Australia. And this is Crook. Callum Crook, last line of defence. Looking at here for Bock. Bock goes for the climb behind, and it was a good grab in front of the Victorians to Riley. In towards centre half forward. Beautifully placed. Finds ball. Ball's off. Bangs it straight in towards the goal square. I reckon that might have nearly gone through.
Yes, it has.
Let's have a look. The South Australians really haven't put up much of a fight that it was touched. So it was a wobbly old kick, but has found the mark. So Victoria sneak back ever so slightly. 3-4, 22 to 4-2, 26.
And it was that very good leap from Riley to take that mark. He's got the spring heels going and then passed the ball, who marked strongly again, had the presence of mind to play on, found he had some space, and it was a wobbly kick, not that good off the foot, but it still did enough to get through.
Yes, I had a bit of fear of panic in me as we have a look. Young player that I was referring to before who copped that nasty one's coming off the ground here in Breslau, and he too might be holding a shoulder. As Victoria went to attack, it was Carazzo who led it. Comes back here to Kelly. Been a bit of a live wire. Looking in towards centre half forward, the two 12s come together. Eichner it was, and also 12 Luke Ball, but it was Ball who ends up with the footy. Grutch, they come again. Burgoyne comes out with the football for South Australia. Nice little weighted kick to half back. And they're off again. Jackman towards centre wing. Roden it was who went to spoil South Australia's. Eichner I should say. Down here, Burgoyne's covered a bit of territory. He moved down there pretty quickly. Spilt what he should have taken. Cross here, through centre half back. Roden goes for a little bit of run. Puts it right out here onto to centre wing. This is Kelly who picks it up. A handball. Running onto it is Brown. Need to work pretty hard here. This is Finnan. Try and lock it in. Bit of aerial ping pong. Worked okay. Brought to the ground. There was Oakley, I think, for South Australia. This allows Carazzo back in. And here he is, the little danger man. Harvey spots a player out here on his own. Ball just carried a little bit too high for him. And I think you'll find it's Ferraro, and he couldn't get both hands onto it. And South Australia will force that turnover through Statham. In fact, I think the player for Victoria might have been Riley. It was.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at this boundary throw-in. No, 7.5 minutes gone of this second term. Trying to take it out of the ruck. There's a big fellow there in Crook. Couldn't do so. Kicks a wobbly one. Straight to the waiting arms of Brown. He'll get it moving quickly. Looking for Carazzo over the top of him. Kelly it was. The handball was quick. I don't know whether it was effective. Puts Barham under a lot of pressure out there. South Australia finally get a handball away. Tackling's good. Rivers under all sorts of pressure. This allows Victoria to put it right into their square. Will got one for his corner, but has taken the mark right there at the true centre half back position, and that's Statham. Statham's kick. Harvey, the crummer. Also in there was Brown. Out wide. Oh. How easy do you like them? And it's offline. Gee, that was a wasted opportunity there from young Ball.
David Dixon's made a few changes. Brett Thornton's now gone down into the back pocket to pick up Big Jamar, and Jordan Barham, I think, has gone to centre-half back for Rutten. So they've changed a few of the matchups on those tall South Australian forwards. But again, they just don't appear to have the bulk with those two players, nor even increased size to match up the big, strong South Australian forwards.
Statham, a lovely kick in, a lovely mark. It's been plucked out of the air here by Crook. He's kicked towards centre wing, arriving a little bit late. I'll tell you what, lucky he didn't get hurt there, young South Australian. Wright finally gives a handball off. Stelzer over the top of it. Eichner. This allows Roden in. There's a nice catch here on centre wing. This is Ryan Brown. It was a poor kick. I was waiting there, Kelly. It only needed to carry, and they were off the Victorians. Well, they're off the South Australians. This is Kurtzel. Kurtzel, the kick carries a little bit too far. Defence of Victoria does the mopping up here. Now they've got one player to come in and protect, and it can do just that. Puts the tackle on Burgoyne, or the bump on Burgoyne-Riley. This allows Roden to deliver okay. Running up is Riley again, back through the centre. Oh, in a spot of bother. Ferraro got caught. Carazzo on his own, steadies, and looking for the lead, and just a little bit late was Finnan. The lead was good, the ball didn't carry. The handball here from McGuinness for the Victoria Metro side. Wobbly old kick, found its mark, and it's fallen straight. I thought it might have fallen straight here to Ferraro, but it hasn't. No mark paid. The umpire, the crowd thought it was a mark. Everyone started clapping here, and I thought it was too.
Yeah, I think Finnan's pretty stiff there. He's appeared to have got his hands under it. Maybe the umpire's a bit unsighted coming from the back of Finnan, but a line ball. Obviously, he thought he'd marked it. Umpire will bounce it.
Right, so again, right in the attacking 30 metres from goal for Victoria. South Australia have got the numbers. Bossinson might have been heading for the safety of the boundary line out there. And we'll find the boundary throw in. Let's have a look at the time clock here. 10 minutes, just a margin on the other side of 10 minutes here. The scoreline 4-2-26, Victoria Metro 3-5-23. Well, they've played much better to me, the South Australians, than they did the first time that we saw them in these championships. Victoria, more deliberate at the moment. This is Kelly. And whoa, I thought for a moment South Australia had their name written all over that. It carried across the back of the pack there to Finnan again. It's been a bit stiff. There's a couple of marks he probably should have taken. Probably could have been awarded. Now, plenty of time here for Victoria through Welsh. Being told what to do with it. South Australia have got numbers at the ball there. But the first to recover is the Victorian. Good tackle. Thornton it was. It was just a fraction slow, but there was pressure applied. Now South Australia will have to work hard here. They had plenty of numbers in the footy and they've mucked it up. Finally, Brown it is. He goes high, wide and handsome out on the full. And Semler will take this free kick. So plenty of opportunities to clear the footy there, but persisting with short handball. And not working for them. Burgoyne. Quickness of hands. Bursting through there for Victoria was Heinrich. Got dispossessed. So too. There's a snap out of the pack. And again, that's on the full. But it's scrappy football. But pressure football, Kevin.
Yeah, a little bit undisciplined there too. I think on a couple of occasions, Brown and Ferraro have had chances to put the ball more into the hotspot area. They've had snaps over the shoulder, both gone out the full. It was a little bit harder to get into that 25-metre area directly out from goal.
Geez, Big Jamar can present himself, can't he?
Been very good, isn't he? Very good.
So a change here on the boundary. Sees Noonan coming on for South Australia, and Stelzer it is who comes off. Now Victoria win the ruck contest, but don't win the ball. Goes straight through the arms there of Eichner, and forced over the boundary line yet again. I tell you what, I like the attack of the Victorians. From the point of view, their tackling has been very, very good. They've been able to wrap their opponents up pretty well. Boundary throw-in. Awkward. Well, that's effective, but this won't be. Because coming in there is Crow, the big ruckman. Oh, just for Heinrich, couldn't keep it in. Headed for the boundary line. It's right in front of us here at the moment. We can see Ben Schwartz coming on for Victoria in a moment or two. We'll find out who's going to have a spell. So the boundary throw-in right in front of the members' stand here at Shell Stadium. Ruckman is in there, trying to use the body. Caught a little bit high. Play on, said the umpire. Kurtzel it might have been. And into the centre, wanting to play on quickly is Bossins. And Bossins drives it straight down the throat of the Victorian down there in defence, who comes out to mark it in Welsh. Roden had the pressure on him. Welsh decides to go wide. He'll look out here looking for Montagna. Recovery is good from the Victorians. Carazza dodges one way, balances up, and has a choice of a couple of players up there and elects to find Kelly. Carazza comes back again onto the footy. Little chip kick into the forward line, a good grab, good mark, a good lead. Everything about it was spot on for Ryan Brown. Now, will he go back and take a big kick? I think he should. There's plenty of leads being made here by the Victorians. And here's the one here from Harvey, but he's been, well, outran, I suppose is probably the best way to say that, by Ferraro. Little Harvey put the lead on, and then, oh, it's Finnan again. Actually, I've got these two mixed up a couple of times. Ben Finnan.
Yeah, that's his second mark in a couple of minutes there. He's been moved from the back pocket, where he's on very, very the tall changing ruckman in Crook and Jamar, and he's a lively type, able to play forward or back. Just a 17-year-old, and he's a left footer. He's not on the perfect angle for a left footer.
Yeah, by the sound of that, you don't have a lot of confidence in him, Kevin.
There you go.
I do. Have a look
kick.
at this. Wonderful kick. So, for a backman, you stay on the forward line, young Ben. That was a wonderful kick. And my apologies. I think I missed him before. I might have called him Ferraro. So, Finnan had a couple of touches in the forward line. And it was interesting, Harvey put the lead on. And Finnan just had a little bit too much more momentum up. And you could see Harvey literally pull back as if to say, well, OK, you're in the better spot. they've been rewarded. So 4-5 plays 4-2, 17 minutes of this second quarter. The Victorians with their nose in front for the first time.
Yeah, and Finnan's moved to the forward line. I think his third mark, in fact, up there. Been very lively across half forward after starting down the back. And that's what they need. They haven't had a target up forward that can take marks.
Heinrich again. Kelly's out there underneath it. A little bit late. On the scene there was Brown. Bouncing football goes into the goal square just on the other side.
It's Finnan again.
Finnan again, yes. Just getting himself up off the ground. And just having a look at him. He's a decent cut of a young fellow too. Finnan, what is he, 189 centimetres. Yep. South Australia. Burgoyne couldn't take it with him. He's clever enough to get out of trouble. Spins around. Probably has to get out of the road of a few of his teammates, or they have to get out of the road of him. This is Kurtzel. Mick Kurtzel from North Adelaide. Right on centre wing. And looking to answer that Victorian goal. South Australia very, very quickly. Bursting through as Verco has a shot on goal, but it's offline to the right of the goalpost and another behind. So the attacking of South Australia sees them move on to 4-3. Victoria Metro 4-6. 17 minutes gone of the second quarter here at Shell Stadium. And Carazzo swoops onto the footy here. Gives it back to his fullback. And he'll come out Welsh. With a bit of speed. Has a bit of a run. South Australia first to recover through Bossens. Get it across here looking for Wright. His kicks or handball to an opponent. Sees them into the square. Looking up here, I would say that would be Bock trying to grab that ball there for South Australia. And again it's been forced through for another behind.
Big Jamar's been very impressive again there. Just his quick hands, the ability to gather it, clean hands, hit the smaller targets getting by.
This is where Victoria are cutting them up a bit at the moment. They've got their small running players. This is Harvey. Goes for a little bit of a run. Balances up. In there. Great grab. This is Finnan. He won't miss him this time. Quick hands across the ball. Ball gets it moving quickly. Couldn't take it with him there, Ferraro. In for a second attempt here. Beautifully picked up by Ball. Out wide. Has a bit of a hesitant look at it. Might have been Montagna. And right up here into the forward zone, the mark not quite captured by Brown.
And the creative ball, he showed both a terrific second effort and courage as he ran straight at the footy. Followed up terrifically well and created that opportunity for the Vic Metro.
Jackman looked for Burgoyne out here, 2-on-1. He's going to have to work pretty hard because Victoria have got the numbers. They clear it through Tuck. Tuck's kick into the centre. Good enough. This is Kelly. Been very good, Kelly. James Kelly to call the Cannons. Looking up here towards full forward. Couple of avenues there. Ryan Brown was the option for him. South Australia finally relieved the pressure. Jackman it is to Burgoyne. Steadies. Has a little bit of a look. Box at the back of the pack this time. And that's probably the best place for him to be because he swoops on it. Goes for a bit of a bounce. Hot on his hammer as Welsh. Blocked from about 45 metres. Unfortunately for South Australia. The swing on the ball just goes to the wrong side of the goalpost. Welsh just couldn't quite pick him up. Now again here the Victorians creating that loose man. This is Power. Power, his kick, beautifully delivered the ball. Now what will Ball do? Give it off again? No, he goes one way. I'll tell you what, he was thinking about it. He's found Big Crow. Back here to Power. Can have a bit of a bounce. The left footer, perfect for him. Look at the way he centred this. Towards centre half forward. Two Victorians could have raffled that. The player to come up with it is McGuinness. So it might have been McGuinness and Brown, was it, Kevin? The two players vying for that.
Yeah, but Sam Power, just his use of the footy makes him stand out in amongst the rest of the players here. He just rarely ever misses a target.
That was beautifully delivered.
Terrific vision as well as foot skills. And good with his hands as well.
So McGuinness from 40 metres directly in front, and it swings back beautifully for the Victorians. They like it. The crowd like it. So does the goal umpire. Gives them a little bit of breathing space. They'll now move on to 5-7-37. 20 minutes gone, 21 minutes gone actually of the second quarter. So half-time siren a couple of minutes away. And Victoria getting a bit of space.
As well as the great finish from Power to kick the centre of the ball across to McGuinness, he's also the one that received the kick in. So he's really run from inside the defensive 50 to get the ball at half forward. So his follow-up was fantastic. Received the hand pass, from Justin Crowe in the finish and then centred the ball right into that perfect area 35 metres out from goal. Terrific all-round play from Power.
There's comments from Kevin Sheehan. South Australia get the tap out, but Harvey's the one who gets the footy. Carazzo just pushed his opponent off the footy, stood flat-footed and had a shot on goal, fancied himself from the stand start, but it's been a little bit indirect. South Australia will swing play across the opposite side. They'll find Statham here. Just coming in to stand the Marcus Finnan. Statham going backwards again. Whoop, there's danger. Now, can Carazzo capture this and make it a little bit hard? Only needs to tap it out. Good battle by the South Australians who are in a spot of bother there. And the player I think we should credit was Bossens, who probably missed the early mark, but he did get them out of trouble. They're away through centre wing here, but it's all Victoria. He has to run onto this. Power finds Tuck. Tuck, handball to Brown. This is Campbell Brown. And looking for the sanctuary of the boundary line. South Australia with a couple of little toe pokes, and they do get away with it. Perhaps a little bit lucky.
Power sitting sort of unattended basically at half-back. I think that might be pushing someone down now, but SA going with just restricted numbers on the forward line, and David Dixon deciding to leave his numbers back. And they're cleaning up pretty neatly as SA go forward.
Well, they've only just got to apply that little bit of pressure. Wonderful tackle there by Ryan Brown. Wonderful pressure being applied by the Victorians, so that every time the ball does come out, it's got to come out under pressure, and if it falls short, as you said, Kevin, here we are looking again. Tuck, Power, Harvey on that far side of the ground there. Who have we got? Looks like it might be Montagna. And also sitting in there was Kelly. So we had 5 Victorian players who just really creating that block off point there. Every other Victorian had a man beyond halfway down the ground. So a good quarter from Victoria to fight their way back into it. They were 2-4-16 at the quarter-time break, while South Australia were 3 straight goals. And half-time, Kevin, sees Victorian Metro 5-7-37, South Australia 4-5-29. Where do they get their nose in front, or how do they get their nose in front in that quarter?
Well, I think it was probably the run. The good players of the Vic Metros have been ball across the midfield, Power down in defence. I think Kelly on one wing, so it's been the run of those players, and then the lift that Finnan gave them once he moved from the back pocket down to the forward line. Provided a marking option which they hadn't had. SA had it all to themselves earlier on. Jamar, the ruckman, marking well round the ground, also up forward. Cook had taken a mark up there as well. Their bigger players, Rutten, had been excellent across half forward, providing many opportunities for the South Australians. We have got a good game in our hands here in what is ideal conditions. Chris Judd, the captain of the Victorian side, got off the ground with a shoulder injury or an arm injury. They're going to miss him. I think we're in for a very entertaining second half when we come back here to Shell Stadium after the half-time break.
Welcome back to Shell Stadium, and we're about to start the second half here as Victorian Metro lead 37-29. Kevin Sheehan, some fairly good performances by these youngsters out here in the first half.
Yeah, Bruce Winter, the SA coach, would be pretty pleased with the turnaround in his side's performance. Their endeavour's been terrific. They've been well led by Rutten at centre forward, but Mark Jamar there in the ruck, the big fella's taken 6 marks. Half a dozen hit-outs. He's kicked 2 goals once he's gone forward. He's really been the spark, and he's had terrific support at ground level. The likes of George and Wright and Noonan, the smaller players, terrifically smart with their hands, sharing the ball and providing plenty of opportunities for their forwards. And the Vic Metro, their leading player, I think, would be Ball and Power would be their best couple. Power across half-back, providing terrific run, but using the ball very, very smartly, hand and foot. And Ball ruck roving, winning plenty of it. And then Finnan in that second quarter, when he went forward, provided a target for them.
Well, South Australia into attack, and it's Jamar actually that was the better of those 2 ruck contests. And much better use of the footy here, sharing around South Australia. Looking out here for Burgoyne. Punched away from him by Campbell Brown. Good attack on the footy here. And have a look at the desperation of these young Victorians. There's one South Australian who's just been pummeled straight into the ground there in Kane Officer. And the 3 Victorians just wrapped him up. I mentioned before how good their tackling's been.
Yes, and their ability to keep the eye on the ball. Campbell Brown terrific on that occasion, backing back into a pack. He's a hard nut.
Again, we have a look at these Victorians. across half forward for South Australia. That's on the full. No, says the umpire. Bit stiff. I thought the ball came out a bit quick onto his boot.
Very relieved.
Yes, I think he was. He had no idea what had gone on there. It just came out and was almost thrown onto his boot with no attempt being made. But again, the Victorians blocking across the South Australian half-forward line and shutting down any avenues. Waiting arms of Eichner. I tell you what, this is not a bad recovery. Will they get out of trouble? Spinning. Verco. Eichner tries to skew whiff the footy back off the right foot and can't do so, and the Victorians will just take this over the boundary line. Actually, they were pretty lucky to get that ball forward. There was 2-on-1 there for young Eichner, and he managed to, at a second attempt, still get a kick away. 37 plays 29 in glorious conditions down here at Shell Stadium on the third day of the Ansett AFL Under-18 National Championships. And South Australia looking to set something up again, becoming a little bit more creative. This is Kane Officer, whose kick's a shocker. And it's gone over the boundary line some 20 metres further up. Between the back pocket and half back. And electing to handball is Roden. Across here to... Looked like Sam Power. It was too. I thought for a moment, what are you doing way up there? But he's in defence at the moment. Caught me a couple of times today, these young fellows. There's Eichner again with another possession. And the player to take the free kick will be Sam Powell, the young fellow we were talking about beforehand, who plays with the Oakley Chargers and can play either as a forward or a defender. And his kick's found its mark on that far side of the ground at the moment, and this is Welsh. Into the centre of the ground, unmarked, 2 Victorians, and they can bring this out wide here to Montagna, and he's off. He can have a little bit of a bounce. He fancies himself. He tucks it under the arm. You better have a kick now, young fellow. Oh. He's inside 30. Had a shot on goal. Sensational bit of football from the Victorians. I tell you what, he ran his full 10 metres too.
And didn't he back himself too, because his South Australian opponent was within a metre of him, but he had the confidence in his leg speed to say, I will take this fellow on. His intention from the wing here was to have a shot on goal. So he's covered the ground magnificently, and then it was the finish, just smooth and balanced as he got into his stride. A wonderful finish, and that's a team lifter.
Well, we never saw him in the first game, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's really made his presence felt out here today.
Yep, playing on the wing, providing the sort of dash that you really need. Spark on the wing. He can go up forward. We've seen him also down in deep defence. Montagna, youngster from Marsland College in Bulleen.
Jamar against Crow. Crow gets the better of that ruck duel. George over it for South Australia. Wouldn't get clean hands on the footy. And Victoria just continually pushing the ball down. Finally getting a little kick away was McGuinness. Repelling that attack, and it's all Victoria, where they're cutting off across the centre and half back. This is Power looking down for Carazzo. He doesn't mind taking them on either. Good work there by George, who smothered that out wide. And South Australia right on centre wing. I reckon that's Jamar out there now. The big fella drives it in, looking up here for Rutten, who's well down. The kick's not delivered all that well, and Sam Power chips in and takes another mark. Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting to pick some of the better Victorian players at the moment. There's 3 or 4 vying for that at the moment. There's a lovely ball delivered with precision right down here to Roden. And he again will find little Harvey, who just unfortunately fumbles the footy at the last minute right on 50. Picked up quickly here by Semler. Semler's kick, not direct. McGuinness blazes away, looking down there for his full forward. Waiting at the back, taking a wonderful mark as Rivers. Jared Rivers under pressure. To Eichner. I don't know why. I think he's probably created his own pressure down there, but he wanted to get it moving pretty quickly because Eichner was offering the lead, but only some 30 metres away. But it was pretty close to the boundary line. So the boundary throw in, 5 minutes into this third quarter, 43 playing 29. Jamar in front, too big and strong for McGuinness. Ball comes out the back to 2 Victorians. They can raffle that. Might have been Ball. Ball has a shot. Harvey. Ball could have probably nearly let it go. Actually, he's dropped a couple of little ones today, Harvey. I suppose we might be expecting a little bit too much of him, because he really caught fire on the first game that we saw him play. Just slipping at the vital stage there was Power. This gives a little bit of breathing space here for Victoria, because here go the numbers again. He's off Power. Spinning around, going one way, back the other. Roden finally gets the left boot to ball. Player all on his own out here, right deep in the pocket. I reckon it's Tuck. So is that young Tuck?
It's Tucky.
That's Tucky. And he'll kick from about 45. He's gone for the shorts. And I'll tell you what, Power's run down. I think you mentioned before about how much ground this fella actually covers, Kevin. He's gone from half back down here into the forward pocket.
Just not sure that he's got an opponent at the moment. He's running free, sitting off half back and now pushing forward. But he's been very dangerous. He's had 5 or 6 possessions in the first 7 or 8 minutes of this quarter.
This is his first chance to get a goal. And I think that might be just offline. It is. So Sam Power. Kick was okay. The accuracy was just a little astray. The wind perhaps favouring that Barwon end goal. So we've probably got what we refer to as probably a little bit of an easterly here at Shell Stadium. And credit must go to the curator here because these conditions are spot on. Wrapped up, nowhere to go. Jackman puts the tackle on the young Victorian here in McGuinness. And he just had the ball held to him. So the ball will go into the ground. And again, we start to see these Victorians. Look at them coming back here to the back of the square. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. If you want to throw Roden in that, you can make it 5. He's at the back of the ruck contest. Bursting through or trying to get through is Kelly. Carazzo flung to the ground. South Australia have got numbers here now through Jackman. He's pursued. This is Bossens. All very close to the boundary line. Well, Victorians just keeping that pressure up.
Yeah, so SA certainly flooding the defence there. All the numbers down around the footy, but the Victorians are not going with them. They're sitting back, so you've really got 4 players 35 metres off the ball.
Be against young Jamar there. I think he might have just got into his back. And Ryan Brown will take the free kick here. Relation of?
Campbell's Mel's son.
So we've got a couple of Browns. So let's have a look at him. Oh,
great finish.
That's a wonderful finish. He likes it. So Ryan Brown ends up kicking his first goal. So having a look at the goal scorers for Victoria, I actually paused for a moment there, Kev, because we have got all single goal kickers. We have 7 of them on the board. And they are Judd, Guttison, Ball, Finnan, Brown, McGuinness and Montagna.
And Ryan Brown finishing very neatly there. He's missed a little bit of footy of late due to an injury, but started the season tremendously well for the Dandenong Stingrays. A big lump of a lad at 190 centimetres, 83 kgs, providing a target now across half forward.
Crow doing well in the ruck here against Jamar, gets the tap, but it falls to the South Australians across the back of the square there. Coming away as officer. Looking up there for Rutten. And pressure on him has seen this ball forced over the boundary line. In fact, I think they've only had it once or twice, maybe past their half-forward line, South Australia in this quarter. Victoria doing exceptionally well. Crow and Rutten to do the ruck work. Rutten it is in front, gets the quick hands away to Noonan. Noonan's kick, not that effective. So taking this kick is Sam Power. As you said before, it's pretty hard to see that he has got an opponent. Interesting to have a look at his stats because he's racking them up, I can tell you. South Australia, have a look at this. Wonderful swoop of the ball here by Kelly. A mistake made by the South Australians. Kelly comes through the centre. The handball's not good to ball. Comes back for a second attempt. Can't pick it up. This allows South Australia through the likes of Eichner to pick it up. Finally, they head for the sanctuary, let's say, of that boundary line. Jackman. But Kelly swooped on that mistake. And perhaps his unselfishness has brought a turnover.
I think the choice was right to give the hand pass. Just the execution of the skill. Should have really been able to hit Luke Ball, and he would have had a shot on goal. So just poor execution of the finish.
Rivers across the back of the pack, trying to break the pack. There was Ball coming through, still does. And he's looking for a forward up here. Roden kicked off the ground there by the South Australian in Statham. Thought I'll rather give away a behind here. 2 Victorians coming in from either side of him. So back into play again. Now, they'll need to be clean with their possession here. They are, and they're swinging this ball from one side of the ground to the other. Jackman it is who marks deep in the opposite back pocket here. He'll bring it out here. He's probably going to look for Jamar. Gets to the contest and marks it well. Good catch. Quick hands of Jamar. Oh, found Semler. Clash of players there. Have you heard Kevin Sheehan go, oh, little kick, just smothered. Very, very quick hands there from Schwartz. Hit ball on the chest. It came out like a rocket. Coming out like a rocket here is Montagna. Harvey looking to make a bit of position. Here he is, onto the left boot. Has a shot at goal, little Harvey. And we labelled him before he got the footy, but he was running to where the ball was going to come out. And I suppose that's where we talk about footy smarts of young players, Kevin, where they can just run to where that ball should be.
Yeah, little Shane's got a lot of the abilities, built abilities that his brother Brent has, able to find the footy. He just hasn't had a good day today. Hasn't been clean. He's fumbled the ball, missed a couple of marks, but on that occasion, terrific finish on the left side. He really does know where those goals are. Has the ability to kick bags in bursts. Young Harvey. So Shane's gone up onto the ball now, and Victoria have got away to a very handy break.
8 goals, 8 goal kickers for Victoria. Harvey adds to that. And Crow to do the ruck work against Jamar. Jamar doing the better on that occasion. Well, that needed to be quick hands there from Noonan. He offers the protection there for his teammate. And every time this ball comes into their half-forward line, there is just a number of Victorians there to repel the attack. McGuinness it is who comes away nicely with it. Across here to Finnan. He's playing a little bit further up the ground. Harvey goes back with the flight of the ball, and he's prepared to take them on and got caught. Just got a kick away. Travelled to Semler for South Australia. He'll get it across here to Jackman. Jackman will, well, that's unfortunately what we were talking about beforehand. They're quite willing to play on, but they're really not giving the player that's coming past them the opportunity to get rid of it, because they're just not clear enough, and the handball's not probably going 3 or 4 metres. It's only travelling a metre and a bit. And Victoria really are going to make them pay here. That's the easiest of goal that they want to get. And that's come off the boot of Ben Finnan. And thanks, Ben, because you've now given us a dual goal kicker for the day.
And Little Roden's had a terrific second and third quarters. In defence in the second quarter has now gone, appears to have gone into the midfield. Very lively player, terrific in the contest, and he's quick. Just a solid little fella, but he's very, very quick in tight. And he's the Morris medalist from the TAC Cup in year 2000. Having a good game.
Having a look here at the moment, we've got... well, the centre bounce. Crow should favour him on this occasion. It does. Trapped here by Eichner. Roden, you spoke about beforehand. Here he is, trying to burst through the centre. Trying to get first grab of the ball. South Australian dragged off it. Pretty scrambly. Carazzo it is who finally gets it out. Crow toe bakes it off the ground. Looking down there towards centre half forward. That was Brown, Ryan Brown. Better get them right with the two of them out there. South Australia. On the end of the hand pass was Kurtzel. Out wide, looking here for Rutten. He's going to have to move like a young rover. There's Rutten because the Victorians are there. Tuck. Cross here to McGuinness. Down to Thornton. Thornton right in the middle here to Roden. And Roden's off. He's got enough speed to be able to get away from the big fellow. It's got the chase on him here in Verco. And it's South Australia that have numbers, but it's Victoria who capitalise on them. Bad blue down there. Guttison ends up with the goal. And I suppose when you've got 3 of them, I suppose if we had a look at the replay, you'd probably see that there was not a lot of torque. 2 stood flat-footed, 2 went up. No Victorian flew. And the person who was at the bottom of the packs raced away to get the goal.
Yeah, it was, again, Power down there in defence. Sam Power switch across the ground here that brought it onto the near side, provided the spot where the Vic Metro had the numbers. They had all their players congregated this side of the ground, were able to move it forward very briskly. Again, Roden's been very prominent, just his pace, able to have a change of direction, put his South Australian opponent just on the wrong leg, and he burst through, created an opportunity for Guttison, who's finished off well.
16 minutes gone of the third term. 69 plays 29. And Crow still doing the rucking there for Victoria. Jamar up high. No real decisive tap out there. Quick kick, looked like it came from the boot of Kelly. Now Carazzo there first, has a look, gets the call from his teammate, back to Carazzo from McGuinness. Carazzo has a look further down, overrunning it is Gutterson, opposite number 10 here in Rivers. Woof. All comes back to pressure, doesn't it?
It's always a tough kick on your left side under pressure. I think he's probably best off running a couple of steps and trying to get that hand pass along the boundary line.
Look at the numbers here for Victoria at centre half forward. Now Crowe can probably go back and have a deliberate shot here. He's right in front of goal. He gives it off to the running player, Power, going past, and Power's kick is precision perfect. Wonderful football, unselfish football from the big fellow Crowe. And Sam Power gets his first. I'm starting to fill up my sheet here at the moment with Gutterson and Finnan with 2 apiece, and then singles in that 11 goals to the Victorian Metro side.
And the Oakley Chargers teammates combining on that occasion. Crowe, I think, anticipated being outside 50. He's not going to make the distance from there, and unselfishly put across to Power, who, as we've mentioned many times, a magnificent kick on his left side, and he's able to slot it through from outside the 50.
Brent Riley looking to come on, have a bit of a run here for Victoria at the moment. Carazzo, clever, spins around on the left boot. The bouncing football beats the South Australians. Harvey there, and Harvey dribbles one down into the forward zone. They're doing what they like at the moment. A little bit of luck going their way, which does help. But Harvey, who has been relatively quiet so far for the game, has ended up with his second. So both Harvey, Finnan and Gutterson, 2 goals apiece.
Yeah, the floodgates are opened in the last 7 or 8 minutes. I think SA, well, they'll be disappointed in there because they've been terrific for two and a half quarters, but have just taken the foot off the pedal here, and the Vic Metros are now dominating out of the centre, and they're running players. They're just swarming forward, providing many opportunities for their forwards.
Luke Ball been giving a little bit of a spell here.
I think even the unattended Power, to have him unattended across half back, he's just mopping everything up.
But he's so creative. Kelly getting plenty of the ball too. This is Gutterson trying hard. Maybe just got into the back of the South Australian there. They're going to have to work hard for it. Carazzo, he's been in everything too this quarter. And we'll find that the umpire will put the ball into the ground about 40 metres out, maybe 35 metres out from the Victorian goal. So it's been a wonderful quarter for Victoria Metro side. 5-7 at half time. They are now 12-9. So it's been a 7-goal quarter for them. Tuck stands, puts the ball high. Talking of getting up high, so too did Callum Crook, but didn't bring the football down with him. He's got teammates to clear it for him. Kick off the ground, might have been from Finnan, I think, in towards centre half forward. Big pack forms, comes to the ground. Desperation being used over the top of it totally for South Australia, and the Victorians bottle him up as well too. Brown just handing that back to the umpire now in Ryan, or Ryan Brown I should say, not umpire Ryan. And the ball directly in front of Victoria's goal, 30 metres out. 12-9-81, plays 4-5-29. Quick kick, ineffective by Finnan. Chance here now for Eichner.
Oh, great smother.
Was a good smother. Here's a chance again. That handball came out so quick to George. He had it there with him before he went very far. Now that's got to be paid somewhere, hasn't it? No. I don't think we've seen one of these paid at all today. Travis Oakley. Or over the carnival, actually. Head for the boundary line. I suppose it's the only option for them at times. But no one has been penalised for deliberate out of bounds as yet. Roden cleverly taps it and puts a wonderful tackle on to the player without the footy, though, in Noonan. And Victoria, a scrambly little old kick. So a couple of...
from Harvey again there.
Yeah.
Yep.
South Australia perhaps a little bit unlucky not to get a free kick out of that. But the luck's all with the Victorians at the moment. 81-29. The clock ticks down, 21 minutes of the third term gone. Nice kick in front. Roving it well, though. This was Riley. In towards centre half forward. And as easy as you like. There's another one for Victoria. You can write that one down to Gutterson. That's his third. So Brent Gutterson, like the Bush Rangers of old, stood and delivered. Right at centre half forward. Now, we've got a blood rule here, I think. Umpires spotted a South Australian.
Just good team play by the Victorians then. Spoilt the kick in from SA was just to a one-on-one situation, but disciplined play. They were able to spoil it forward. Riley's run onto it, and then Guttison unattended received the pressured kick, was able to swing around and kick his third goal. A very lively type, Guttison. We see him kick 3 goals, 4 I think in the first round. A bit more accurate today with some accurate snaps in the last 2 in this particular quarter.
Watson on, Bosson's off for South Australia. I tell you, he's just got the smallest nick on the side of his knee. The umpire did pretty well to spot it. Even the bench down here looking, where the hell is it? Oh, wonderful tap there by Crow. It's going to give them a bit of a start, but they mop up okay through Kurtzel. Out wide. Officer dodges one way, back the other. Kicks a high one. And standing his ground is Rutten, and that's where his strength really is good. Quick hands off here to Noonan. Noonan running goal. It's a scrambly old kick. This allows Victoria through Riley. Back here to Montana. And out here finds Carazzo. So they swing the ball to the opposite side now. Carazzo saying, get back. I want to kick this a little bit longer. He's looking down there for Harvey. It's gone over the back of Harvey. But he should be there to take the handball. No, it's going back the other way. Ran into a bit of a wall there, did Power. South Australia working hard. Here's the loose handball coming out here. Came from Walsh, I think. And they're out here looking here for Rutten, who runs onto it. Other players should run to the back of him. Just didn't quite make enough space for Rutten to give the handball earlier. Now he's out in the open space and fumbles it, unfortunately. It might be Jared Wright that's pushed the ball over the boundary line on that far side. Yes, it is. South Australia before siren, which they're going to have to move it pretty quickly, as we're right on siren time for this third quarter. Looking for a goal to save a bit of face here, as they haven't scored since half-time. 4-5 was the scoreline at half-time. 4-5's the scoreline at the moment. Here's a bit of a chance for them. They're quite prepared to give it off with handball. Stelzer stands and gives it to Officer, who again, from a stand start, we'll see. The ball rushed through for a behind. So at least they have scored in this quarter. And that player who kicked it behind, I think they'll probably put it down to Kurtzel. So the kick in finds Welsh, who was virtually on the other side of the boundary line. There'll be a free kick further down the ground here, and then just snuck in, and I think everyone thought he's not even there. Look at Harvey. He wants to swoop on it. Gets it back here. The free kick will go to McGuinness. Carazzo.
Plenty of it this quarter, hasn't he?
Hasn't he, eh? And he's done something with it on most occasions. The handball set up nicely here for Montana. And down towards the forward zone. Bit of a nudge out, went over the back of Guttison on that occasion. He recovers, but who's home? South Australia. Have too many down there in Semler. I think he might have been looking for Roden, but he was just outnumbered. Roden going for a little bit of a bounce through centre half back as Statham. Kicks okay. Centre wing. Look up here for Rutten again. Is he good enough to take it? Well, he's good enough to recover quickly. There's plenty of pressure put on him by Harvey, might have been Mackenzie or Montana over that far side. South Australia in towards centre half forward. Underneath the footy there was Bock. Coming out and taking the mark is Jackman. So Jackman has a chance to get their only goal for the quarter. There's the siren. I think will stop them from going any further. We're 25 minutes, but we've got a lot of scoring. So he can score. As to whether it will be 1 or 6 points, we'll find out in a moment. The Victorians all running down the ground. Let's have a look at the kick. Kick's not going to make it. And the score won't change, so it'll be 4-6 South Australia. So a very, very good quarter to Victoria Metro.
Absolutely overwhelmed SA in that quarter, and now they've had the luxury of being able to put Luke Ball and Tyson Heinrich on the bench, give them a bit of a spell. They're part of the midfield that helped set up, well, a commanding quarter. 8 goals to nothing. Really blew the game right open after a very even first half. They had some excellent players at that quarter. Montagna, we mentioned, Carazzo in the centre. Then up forward, Harvey was very, very lively. Justin Crowe gave him a big lift in the ruck, and then Guttison with a couple of goals. Ball had been very, very good, and then Sam Power just swooped on everything from half-back. Had a wonderful quarter. Roden gave him a big lift as well. Had the numbers, all working in together as a team. It was an outstanding quarter of footy from the Vic Metro.
3 to Gullison, 2 to Harvey and 2 to Finnan. Singles to Power, Ball, Brown. That's Ryan Brown, Kieran McGuinness and Lee Montana. On the other side of the ledger, not hard to find them. Jamar's got 2, 1 each to Eichner and Rutten. Final quarter coming up shortly. Last quarter here at Shell Stadium of this Division 1 game between Victoria and Metro and South Australia. It's been all one-way traffic in that quarter for Victoria Metro. They kicked 7 goals, 3 to South Australia. There's only 1 behind, Kevin, and they're really going to have to do some work, South Australia, to get back into this game.
Yes, I can't see them doing that. There were just 2 dominant, the Vic Metros, in that quarter. McGuinness was another lively player across half forward too that we didn't mention, coming on 3/4 time, but with the likes of Power, Carrazzo we'd mentioned, winning plenty of the ball in the midfield as well, provided numerous opportunities, and Big Crow in the ruck got the ball out of the centre on many, many occasions.
Callum Crooked was who got the tap away. Rutten using his weight. Good hands to Stelzer, who blazes away down towards centre half forward. Loose football sees the Victorians first to recover. Campbell Brown, who headed towards the pocket, and we'll find a boundary throw in. So 88 plays 30, and as Kevin Sheehan mentioned, it's pretty unlikely that South Australia can get themselves back into this game, as the Victorian Metropolitan side have really dominated that 3rd quarter, and what you would think is set up a winning break. George looking to give it off to a teammate in Watson, who was in a better position, still persisting with handball. Noonan. Tarkett was, who got hands to ball. Coming back, scrambly little kick of Noonan's, looking for somebody further down the ground, and Verco, who's got to battle hard for South Australia. But I think that picture tells the story. There are 4 Victorians and 2 South Australians around the ball. So they are going to have to be precise with handball and with foot to break up this Victorian attack or defence at both ends of the ground. Rutten it is, quick hands. On the end of it is Officer, and as you can see, no direction of the kick. It was just boot to ball as quick as he could get. Brown it is, Campbell, who gets a kick out. Running with the flight of the ball is Montana, and they come up through half-back Victoria. The numbers are there for South Australia. Can they utilise it though? The big fella giving away a free kick there was Callum Crook, and let's see Victorian to go back and take the free as he gets up off the ground. It'll be young Robbie Ferraro. So Ferraro with the football, trying to find Crow, and does. And Crow, a good lead, was about 20 metres out from goal, put the lead on, and the lead's on again here. And waiting at the back of the pack is Harvey, and goes bang at goal, and there's no one home for Victoria. It'll be a free kick to Victoria, and the advantage not paid, and it would have been the easiest of goals you've ever seen in your life. But the umpire's decided that he will give the free kick back here, and they'll have another chance to score the goal. This is Guttison, who will take the free kick. Now he has 3, a chance to make it 4. Kevin Sheehan's not a betting man, but if he was a betting man, would you fancy his chances?
Well, I would today. He's been on song today with his kicking after kicking 3-4 the other day. So if confidence means anything, he'll kick it.
So Gullison sends the ball on its way.
He kicked it, but out the full. Oh, well, I think he's better with the snapshots. He's been kicking them on the run today, but set shot, we go back to his form of the other day.
I'm glad I brought it up, Kevin.
Yeah.
It's just ruined our credibility, full stop. Sorry, Brent, you've let us down. South Australia from the back pocket. Good sort of a kick. Oh. And a good fly from the back. Not quite held. Looked like it might have been Barham that was up. Now, Tuck, can he get to the ball? It's over on the full, so he'll get the free kick. And Has a build on him. It's a little bit reminiscent of a fellow that we knew that played for Hawthorn. Wiry Will-o'-the-Wisp. And certainly knows what to do with it. He's going to run up the ground here and look for the handball from Barham, but Barham's elected to go for the kick. It's a scrambly one. Probably might have been better off the option to give to Tuck on the way back again. But it's right on half forward for Victorian Metropolitan side. And the boundary throw-in about to take place here. Let's have a look and see who's going to win this. Probably not a decisive tap to either ruckman on that occasion. McGuinness was in there trying to do the work, and he's still in there battling hard, McGuinness. Caught too high, far too high was Carranzo. Will take the free kick. Now he's paid the advantage here. This is Finnan. Finnan towards centre half forward. Waiting, roving it well. Montana. Oh, look at the speed of this fella. Doesn't he love a run on the ball? And his kick is just smothered at the final stage for South Australia. They managed to hold it up on the square. They get the handball out here to Jackman. And Jackman relieves pressure towards centre wing here, but only as far as the player that sent it in originally in Finnan. So Ben Finnan. And this is going to go over the back of Jordan. Roden, I should say. And South Australia take the mark here between half-back and centre wing. Two Victorians put the spoil on. They really put Rutten in the sandwich there. The loose ball. Now, if it bounces kindly, there should be enough numbers there, even if it bounces not too kindly. Campbell Brown is the one who can mop up. And he leans back, looking, delivers it beautifully up here to McGuinness, who spilled the lollies. He's got 2 on 1 here, so you're going to have to work hard now. There's a throw.
Montagna.
I think they're going to allow the game to go on, of which they are, in Montagna, or Montana. He knows who we're talking about. How's that for a bit of clever trapping of the footy there from Guttison? He was just collared at the last moment. They're rode in there battling hard. Here comes Harvey for Victoria. South Australia throw their body over the football. Carranzo was saying, look, there's no attempt there. What about a free kick? And that's the way the umpire's going to play it. So little Harvey it is. He'll be too far out to score.
And Montagna just sitting in there too with Roden. Gee, on their own. Harvey doesn't spot him.
Didn't he dig them in there before? Montagna, he's got some speed. So this is Harvey from about 45 metres. Unloads. Actually, it had a bit of carry on it too. I didn't think he'd have made the distance, but into a slight breeze. It's just offline.
Well, I think he's got to do a bit better than that. There were 2 of his teammates within 20 metres of goal. You get the free kick, get back quickly, look at all the options. He was 40-odd metres out. I think the other guys were there to...
You little blokes hated goals, though, didn't you?
Well, no, you got to spot the targets, have a greater awareness than that.
So the words of advice from Kevin Sheehan. Good smother on the ball there. Tuck battling hard. Doing better was opposite. The tackle's put on him. And again, they bottle it up here, just in front of us here on the grandstand wing, or the members wing here at Shell Stadium, let's say. Dragging himself off the ground as opposite. The umpire has it now. And again, we've seen a good performance by the umpires here today. In general, as we head into the 7-minute mark of this last quarter. Big tap away for South Australia. Falls to Finnan. Will the kick stay in? No. It's about 2 or 3 metres over the boundary line. So Tuck will take the mark. And South Australia take the kick. Looking here for Big Rutten it was. Hunched away in defence. Getting the congratulations from his teammates there in Schwartz. He just made life a little bit hard for Rutten, who will go back now and take this boundary throw in. And a very good player for South Australia. Finds the call. Tuck, quick hands to Roden. Balances 1, 2, 3. Really didn't have control of the foot. He caught one on the shoulder, and I reckon he knew. I think he got that feeling, Kevin, that there's going to be a tackle come here in a moment. I haven't got this, and I think that was a deliberate ploy to balance that ball in front of him. Am I right or wrong there?
Oh, you're definitely right there. So it's a case of was he in possession or not. He was just pushing it. Sometimes you do that at ground level and you're deemed to be in possession, but he was pushing it just out in front of his face. Very clever play, as it turns out, because he's won the ball. Been a good player for them, Roden.
So Roden, we've seen him in defence and up forward. Good fly from behind from South Australia. Didn't drag it down, Crook. And again, it's found the boundary line. Big Crow now going back into the forward line. And following him back is Travis Oakley for South Australia. And allowing the Victorians that one loose player back there. But it's a pretty open forward line if they can get it out. It's about 65 metres around from the Metro goal, eluding all players, bar one, who was there in Riley. Riley's kicks out deep, looking for Guttison. Got a bit of speed, fancies himself, arches the back just beautifully. Turns around from 35 metres out from goal off line though. Just arched the back and got a centimetre or two to get away from the tag. Got a bit of speed, Kev, hasn't he?
He has. Agile player. Let himself down with his kicking. As we said earlier, that is his strength. He snaps shots for goal, but his opponent had gone to ground. He had the chance to really steady a wee bit better than and get a better result than he did on that particular occasion.
How did Roden come up with that?
Just read it better than the rest.
Yes. The smallest player in the contest ends up with the football. Finds Carazza. Carazza has the ball. Only about 10 metres further down. He'll kick from about 55 and he'll be looking to give off here somewhere. Just trying to have a look and see what options for him. Finnan it is who offers the lead. He's decided to put it up and hope that the tall timber can get the grab. The poor tall timber got the grab and probably will get 50 metres. Flung to the ground after it. And yes, it is too. So Kieran McGuinness was probably the only player that didn't fly there and kept the ground level. The South Australians went up a bit early, stood his ground and took the mark.
Just again the better judge of the length of the kick, wasn't he? And clearly grabbed after he'd taken a clean mark and thrown to the ground there.
So Kane Officer,
that one right.
The offender, and we'll see here Kieran McGuinness become another on the Victoria Metro side to be a dual goal kicker. He already has one. That's two. So Kieran McGuinness with an easy goal from a 50-metre penalty ends up with two. So too does Harvey. So too does Ben Finnan. 3 to Guttison and singles to Power, Ball, Brown. That's Ryan Brown and Lee Montana.
McGuinness been very lively across half forward. Good athletic ability. Left footer, he can go to half back as well. We've seen him play down in defence on different occasions in the past. He played in last year's grand final team, losing grand final side by the Eastern Rangers, and so a versatile type and been a very lively player today for the Vic Metro.
Well, they need a big win, the Victoria Metro. As we have a look at Tuck, read it well, stood his ground, took a bit of guts to do what he did actually, because the South Australians were bearing right down on him. Now it's Harvey and also Brown. Brown elects to be the kicker, find Carazza. Gee, he's racked up some stats, hasn't he? What does his stat sheet tell us at the moment?
Well, this would be about his 25th disposal. At 20 to three-quarter time, Carazza.
And delivers it nicely to the back of the square at the moment. Sweeping on it. Oh, away very, very quickly. This is Montana who blazes away, unfortunately offline. And again, the adrenaline took over. Bursting through the centre there, or bursting through centre half forward. South Australia. Easy kick out here to Watson on his own. Officer is just up against the boundary line here. Tuck keeping an eye on him. He's been ignored. It'll head down here. Good spoil put on there by the Victorian. He managed to just keep it in. Has a second attempt on the ball there. Barham. Now Harvey from behind. Good punch. Saw Campbell Brown down in front. Brown's going to go over the top of Carazza here. Just carried too far. And this is Statham that takes the mark. Swings play. Looking down here for Rutten, who's going to have to run onto it. He's hotly pursued out here by Thornton. And it's all Victoria. Thornton backs himself as a kick. And here's Carazza on the other side of the ground now. So if it was 25 before, Kev, it's now 27 because the 26 was down here in front of us. Looking out here for Crow. See how good a judge you are. You've got no stats in front of you. We might keep you up to that later on. Just see how close you've got to the mark. But he certainly has racked up the possessions.
I know in one game earlier this year against the Rams, he had something like 46 possessions.
Oh, really?
So he really is a ball magnet. Just gets in the right spots. There he goes again.
Would have been Crook that got the tap out there for South Australia. Going back on the flight of the footy. They can't do a lot with it. Here's Tuck from 35. Stands, has a crack at goal. It'll just get touched right on the line. He probably couldn't have run onto it either. So give him his dues. Young Andrew Tuck. He had to get rid of it pretty quickly. It's just failed to carry.
And a good stretch by Oakley there, getting back onto the goal line.
Yes, was good defence. So into the centre now, and through the agency here at Statham. Oh, Tuck's gone over the top of the pack, and catch me if you can. He's off. He's looking down here for Finnan, and Finnan straight on his chest has read it so much better than the two South Australians. And Finnan from 45. Good grab of Tuck's. And another 50. So I would dare say, I reckon the offender would be Semler, not Jackman, because Semler took off at 100 mile an hour from that contest, and I think might have just had a couple of words to the umpire, because the umpires looked in that direction. Victoria Metro getting easy goals here, and the South Australians can't afford to drop their bundle. So Ben Finnan, who's already got 2, I've marked him for 3 already, will come in to pop it through. So the Victorians really piling the goals on here at Shell Stadium. That's their 15th. The scoreboard's starting to tick right over for them. In fact, I think we'll have a look at that. I think the maths might have been a little bit wrong on the point score. That's a bit better. 14-13, 103 to 4-6-30. So virtually, South Australia have only kicked 1 behind since half-time. That's how dominant the Victorian Metropolitan side have been. Centre bounce. An awkward one. Doing the ruck work was Gullison, but he ended up probably being there. And the free kick's been awarded to South Australia here.
Yeah, David Dixon, the Metro coach, has got the luxury of being able to rotate his players around now. This last quarter, we haven't seen ball or power on the ground. They're sitting on the bench. He's able to push Guttison now up into the midfield to give him a bit of a run. He's been down at full forward for the previous 7 quarters of this championship. So he's just experimenting a little bit and giving some a bit more of a run that need a blowout.
Well, South Australia were into attack. Here's another chance again for them to go forward. Might have been Jackman who pushed the ball down into the forward line. There's a good grab. A real good mark to the young South Australian down there as we try and pick him up as he gets up. Number 26 it should be. I think it is 2. And that's Nick Smith. So the ball coming deep into their attacking zone. And the players falling back. And this young fellow here from Norwood takes the grab and gets the goal. So Nick Smith saves a little bit of face for the South Australian side. Their only goal since half-time as they move now on to 5-6. And Victoria Metro 15-13. So 36 plays 103. And it is all one-way traffic here at Shell Stadium this afternoon for the Victorian Metropolitan side.
And Nick Smith hasn't had a lot of ground time. He's just a 16-year-old yet to turn 17. He's a backup really to Big Crook and Jamar, just getting some experience at this particular level. Now that was an impressive mark. Good strong pair of hands and finished neatly.
Hands for South Australia here have been pretty good. Officer, who started it off, finishes up with Stelzer. Stelzer down inside half forward. Another strong grab. And this has been Rutten, who, with 1 goal to his name so far, gives himself a bit of a chance for here. And I think we do too, because he'll have the win just at his back, Kevin. He should make the distance.
I've had a couple of stabs and failed with my prediction, so I'm not game enough to predict this one.
Get on.
Back in?
Yes.
Not off a couple of steps. Yes.
Oh,
no.
Just failed.
Had a bet each way then.
Just failed. You could have got on concession. So behind goes on the scoreboard for South Australia. 37 plays 103. Time clock, 17 minutes gone of this final term.
I think you're right. I think there is a bit of a breeze there because he's just taken a couple of steps then, and when the ball left the boot, I thought, no way, it'll drop 5 to 10 metres short, but it's carried the distance.
Oh, this was asking a bit much of young Tucky to try and keep that in. The kick out. One of a few mistakes they've made from defence today. Victoria Metro. Pass from Officer. And again, the defence of Victoria working very good. Guttison down in defence now. And we see him up on the forward line beforehand having a bit of a run, but he's already got 3 goals to his name today. And as you said, Kevin, you'll probably find that David Dixon will be swapping players around, giving those that need a rest a bit of a rest. And from the back, trying to get the ball was Barham. He's been doing a little bit of ruck work of late. Bouncing football certainly doesn't favour Statham for South Australia. It favours the Victorians. That's Gutterson, who pushes it out wide. And the bouncing ball will beat all as it goes over the boundary line. And Karatza, therefore, Victoria will end up with a free kick here. In fact, that's probably a bad free kick to give. There was 3 South Australians and only 1 Victorian. And the ball was well and truly over the boundary line. Coming back, taking the mark here is Thornton. Thornton, he's off, so he'll have to continue here. There's another stat coming up here for Karatza. Back inboard, Ferraro. Ferraro can find Welsh if he wants to. He's ignored him. He's decided to go a little bit longer. The lead was on there from McGuinness. Was ignored into the centre. Quick kick by Riley. Riley's kick over onto half forward. Now the bouncing ball favours him. This is Montana. He likes to run into an open goal. Can he get it this time? It was a little bit inaccurate beforehand. That's a little bit better.
He's been terrific today, Montagna. He's kicked a couple of goals, but won plenty of the football playing on his wing. But breakaway pace. He's got just tremendous acceleration. He would have handled the ball more than 20 times. Could have kicked 3 from the wing. Missed one a little bit earlier in the quarter. But been very, very impressive right from the first quarter, where he showed the spark with a couple of big dashes on the near centre wing here at Shell Stadium. So an excellent game to lead Montagna, kicking 2 goals and winning the ball more than 20 times on his wing.
So the centre bounce again as the time clock clicks into 20 minutes. Loose ball out to Officer. Losing a bit of weight in there was Jamar. Still trying hard to get it out. South Australia finally do. Bosson's on the end of the handball. I tell you what, they can't make a clean job of it. Victoria, they mop up through Brown, through the centre, through the legs here of Statham. Finally gets it back. They get a kick away. It was Jackman looking down there for Rutten. And a big 27 of Thornton manages to get the football away. Quick turn there from Kelly. Does keep it in, 2 on 1. Finnan, first to recover. Gee, looks like Robbie Walls. Welsh, from the centre of the ground, looking down there for his full forward. Crow, the big ruckman, just came out, lumbered out, just got underneath it. Here's Karatza again, gets a handball. Roden is the only Victorian there. There's plenty of South Australians. If they can finally get it up, they do. The handball might have been through Watson on that occasion out there wide. If it wasn't, it was Fitzgerald. And they're down into their forward line now, moving this ball pretty quickly. And, oh, Rutten tried to burst his way through. Here's a loose ball coming out wide to Bossons, who can run onto it. He still can't get the ball up to his lap. He tries to kick it off the ground. The pressure's being applied by the Victorians. It was Ryan Brown who put the tackle on. And from making what looked like an easy score, they're working hard to even try and keep it in there. Victoria's defence, very, very good. Kelly. Oh, he was quite prepared to take. He was going to run around him, Riley. Then he said, look, damn you, I'll go straight through you. And got brought undone. This is Jamar. Looking down towards centre half forward, going back and taking a good grab at Schwartz. Schwartz, hands to Brown. This is Ryan. And Ryan from centre half back pushes the ball out wide. Finnan inside. Is this Montagna again? Or Montagna? Towards the 50 metres. Might have been Tuck going back there. Chance for a second crack at it. There's little Harvey trying to put a tackle on the South Australian. He'll get it, Oakley, I think. Will take the free kick. He will. Just caught without it. And we'll bring it down towards centre wing. Shocking kick. Shocking kick, but a good grab. No, not paid. In fact, probably wasn't a mark in hindsight to Jackman. Didn't hang on to it long enough. And he's a bit disgusted with himself as well too. But the free kick taken here. This is Noonan towards centre wing. The high flyers were up. Almost a mark to Jamar. But I can tell you, it's a mark to Finnan. Ben Finnan had a wonderful game of footy here today. Moves it across the other side of the ground to Welsh. Now this will be for the runners here. McGuinness swoops on it, can have a bounce. Someone needs to tell him what he can do with it, because he's just going to send it straight into centre half forward. It's bypassed Crow, and South Australia get an easy mark. The kick's okay. Again, the mark spilled here by Jackman. 2 chances missed by him. Brown delivers the ball straight down the throat of Karatza.
And Brown's been very, very good in this quarter. In fact, solid right throughout the match. Didn't have a lot of work to do early, but neat, tidy, tough, coming off the half-back line. And it has finished very, very well to, again, a teammate in Carrazzo from the Oakley Chargers.
So Andrew Carrazzo about to have a shot on goal here. And that tells us it'll be the last one of the day. He's got about 20 metres to run in to have a shot. Kicks from 40 straight in front. Well, it's almost what you'd call a tumble punt, but it's accurate enough. So he's rewarded for a good game of footy and a goal. Andrew Carrazzo. And let's just check this final score here, Kevin. 17-13 to South Australia, 5-7. And I thought that seems more than a 4-goal last quarter to them, doesn't it? But they had all the football that quarter, where South Australia managed just to kick 1 goal, 1. So just recapping, 17-13, 115 to 5-7-37.
Yes, Robin. The Vic Metro overwhelmed SA in the second half. Went in at half-time with just an 8-point lead and absolutely opened the game right up in the third quarter, where they dominated through the midfield. Crow started to get on top in the ruck in the centre bounces and gave the smaller players first use of the ball. And didn't they have plenty of players that wanted to run? Power off the half-back flank had a brilliant third quarter and set up many forward moves. Carrazzo was terrific in midfield. And Montagna on the wing had an excellent game, showed plenty of dash and ran forward. With Luke Ball, McGuinness across half forward, Guttison coming in and snapping a couple of goals, and Harvey with a couple. They just had too many answers to SA, who really dropped their intensity. That's the disappointing part from their point of view. They'd put in a terrific effort first half, but couldn't maintain that intensity. They did have some good players, though, that kept at it all day. Little George in the midfield worked very hard, was prepared to share the ball with his very clean hands. Wright tried very hard, and Noonan. Jamar had been a good player throughout the game. Playing as a marking forward as well as in the ruck, but just overall a very accomplished Victorian Metropolitan side, winning 17-13, 115 over South Australia. Disappointing in the second half, 5-7-37.